Hello everyone, Pastor Doug here. Today we are reading Genesis chapter 39. I know it seems like forever we've been in Genesis, but we are slowly getting there. So keep your patience and we will eventually make it out of Genesis. So Bible, chapter 39, Genesis, turn to it, read along, listen, and let's get started. Now Joseph had been taken to Egypt. An Egyptian named Potiphar, an officer of Pharaoh and the captain of the guards, brought him from the Ishmaelites, who had brought him there. The Lord was with Joseph, and he became a successful man serving in the household of his Egyptian master. And when his master saw that the Lord was with him, and that the Lord made everything he did successful, Joseph found favor with his master and became his personal attendant. Potiphar also put him in charge of his household and placed all he owned under his authority. From the time that he had put him in charge of his household and all that he owned, the Lord had blessed the Egyptian's house because of Joseph. The Lord's blessing was on all that he owned, and in his house and in his fields. He left all that he owned under Joseph's authority. He did not concern himself with anything except the food that he ate. Now Joseph was well built and handsome, and after some time his master's wife looked longingly at Joseph and said, "Sleep with me." But he refused. "Look," he said to his master's wife, "with me here my master does not concern himself with anything in his house, and he has put all that he owns under my authority. No one in this house is greater than I am. He was withheld with nothing from me except you, because you are his wife. So how could you do this immense evil? And how could I sin against God?" Although he spoke to Joseph day after day, he refused to go to bed with her. Now one day he went into the house to do his work, and none of the household servants were there. She grabbed him by his garment and said, "Sleep with me." But leaving his garment in her hand, he escaped and ran outside. And when she saw that he had left his garment with her and had run outside, she called her household servant. "Look," she said to them, "my husband brought a Hebrew man to make fools of us. He came to me so he could sleep with me, and I screamed as loud as I could. And when he heard me screaming for help, he left his garment beside me and ran outside." She put Joseph's garment beside her until his master came home. Then she told him the same story. "The Hebrew slave you bought has come to make a fool of me. But when I screamed for help, he left his garment beside me and ran outside." When his master heard the story, his wife told him, "These are the things your slave did to me." He was furious. He had him thrown into prison, where the king's prisoners were confined. So Joseph was there in prison. But the Lord was with Joseph and extended kindness to him. He granted him favor with the prison warden, and the warden put all the prisoners who were in the prison under Joseph's authority, and he was responsible for everything that was done there. The warden did not bother with anything under Joseph's authority, because the Lord was with him, and the Lord made everything that he did successful. Well, this is still just part of the story of Joseph, which it gets even more interesting. So if you can't wait, go ahead and read along. Read ahead of time and see what happens. But this is just one wonderful example of the people that God uses to make his will known to the world. And Joseph is a spectacular person, that he is blessed by God, but he also is very true and faithful to God. And we'll see that unfold even more in the chapters to come. So, till next time, keep reading your Bible, that I love you, and that I am always praying for you. And I will see you next time. Bye.